Hello bibliophiles, and welcome back to Blatantly Bookish. I'm Larissa, and today I am here with one of my paper crane conversation videos. For those of you who don't know, I make a paper crane and chat with you about my life and things like that. And books, a little bit books. So you may or may not have noticed that I did not post many videos the past 2 months in October and November. And you may have also noticed that I haven't done a reading wrap-up for September, October, or November yet. And I just wanted to catch up with you in one of these little paper crane chats and discuss what's been going on with me, why I haven't been filming, etc. And if you don't care about my personal life, then you should probably skip to the end of this video, because I am also going to discuss some of my latest book acquisitions, which I should hope you're interested in since you're watching a booktube video after all. I don't usually love sharing tons of personal things on this channel, but this is one of those rare exceptions which I will. So I've mentioned before on my channel how in March I hurt my knee doing yoga, and I didn't walk for a week or two, and then I seemingly got better and I went back to yoga and my normal life, etc., etc. But then in August I injured myself again, just stretching, seated forward fold, nothing fancy, and it turns out that my knee never fully healed, and the patella, the kneecap, still laterally subluxes, moves out of its socket more or less every time I walk, leaving my lower back susceptible to injury. So I saw a doctor and I had 2 months of physical therapy for my lower back, and when that didn't help much, the doctor told me to go back to the knee doctor. So now I'm undergoing month 3 of physical therapy, this time for my knee, and I have a whole bunch of different doctor's appointments set up. The whole thing is just very tiring and stressful. Physical therapy is incredibly expensive, as well as all of the doctor co-pays. So I'm just tired of being in constant state of low-level pain. Also, my boss went away for about 3 weeks in the past 2 months, and I was responsible for managing the entire office. It's quite a bit of responsibility that was required, a lot of extra hours and phone calls to staff and patients and coming in on the weekends and holidays for emergencies. And I think I handled everything very well, if I do say so myself, but it was still a lot of work. I've dealt with depression and anxiety in the past, but I've had it so well managed with yoga, which of course I've been instructed not to do by medical professionals. So all of this combined is really taking a toll on me. I haven't had the motivation to film, and I haven't been watching other booktubers' videos really either, because watching other people's videos just makes me that much more aware of how I haven't filmed anything of late. But today I went to my first physical therapy session for my knee, and I saw Katie from Books and Things' Under the Influence of Booktube tag video, where she mentioned me and my channel, and those things combined, I have sort of snapped out of my funk a little bit, and I finally had the desire to film. So here I am catching up with you all, and I don't really want to dwell on that. But I would like to talk about how I had a wonderful Thanksgiving. How was your Thanksgiving if you celebrate? And I went to my boyfriend's family's house. They had the traditional Thanksgiving dinner, turkey and everything, and my boyfriend's grandma makes the best cranberry sauce ever. It is a secret family recipe, and I will just eat it by the spoonful.
Do we still have any of that left over?
Yes, we do.
Sorry.
And also on Thanksgiving weekend, I went to my parents' house because they were out of town and I had to feed the cat. But while I was there, I raided my brother's bookshelves, and he has amazing nonfiction on his bookshelves. I only took a few books back, but he has kind of 2 sections. One section is entirely nonfiction about London, because he studied in London for about 6 months when he was in college, and the other half of his books are all history books, because he was a history major in college. So the first book I brought back from his shelves, shh, don't tell him I stole, is Bill Bryson's Notes from a Small Island. I absolutely loved Bill Bryson's The Mother Tongue, which is somewhere on the shelves behind me. And that's all about the evolution of the English language, which was fascinating. But this one is about England and the pop culture and celebrities that make England quintessentially English. So the back says, "It is a delightfully irreverent jaunt around the unparalleled floating nation that has produced zebra crossings, Shakespeare, Twiggy Winky's farm, and places with names like Farley, Wallop, and Titsy, one or two of which I am sure I just pronounced wrong." I also picked up "In an Antique Land, History in the Guise of a Traveler's Tale" by Amitav Ghosh. And if I understand correctly from the back of this book, this is about Amitav Ghosh's travels from India to Egypt, which parallel the trip of an Indian slave 700 years earlier. And the slave's name is unknown, but his trip is being explored and documented and relived through Amitav Ghosh's experience. And I just think that that parallel is really interesting, and that this will be a really informative history book, but also travel memoir. On my brother's shelves, I also discovered two books that I have read before and absolutely loved, and have been missing for quite a few years now. And those are Oscar Wilde's The Picture of Dorian Gray, which I think I read about 5 or 6 years ago. It's definitely due for a reread, and I can't believe my brother has been hoarding it all this time. And I also have Fyodor Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment, which my boyfriend will be very happy that I've brought back into the apartment, because even though he was a Russian major in college, we somehow don't seem to have a copy of Crime and Punishment in the house. This past weekend, I also went to the Strand with my friend, perhaps the only real-life friend I have who enjoys books as much as I do, and I picked up two about reading and writing. The first one is called Writing Down the Bones by Natalie Goldberg, and this book, well, a section of this book was read to me in a high school creative writing class, and I just remember the impact that it had on my writing, and I would be very curious to read the entire book, and perhaps that would inspire me to write. I always have this idea that I want to write, but I never know what to write, or how to just get started. And I don't consider myself a writer per se, but it's something that I would love to be one day. So perhaps this book will help. And the other book that I picked up from the Strand is called How to Read a Novelist by John Freeman. And the quote on the cover is from Junot Díaz, and it says, "If only I had this book at the start of my career, what falls and confusion I would have been spared. It is a gift for readers and for writers." And so I come at this from the reader's perspective, obviously, and less so from a writer's perspective. But I'm really interested in hearing what all of these quite famous and prolific authors have to say about reading and about writing. It features authors like Toni Morrison, Haruki Murakami, David Foster Wallace, Geraldine Brooks, Joyce Carol Oates, Amy Tan, Salman Rushdie, Marilyn Robinson. So many great authors in here that I can't wait to hear what they have to say. And maybe there are some authors in here that I'm less familiar with that I will fall in love with what they have to say and be interested in reading some of their work. I also want to show you this tea that I've been drinking lately. I've been falling in love with it. It is called Yogi Calming Tea. It really helps me when I'm very anxious and can't focus on anything. I just sit and sip the tea, and it's like having a warm hug. It's absolutely wonderful. So I would recommend trying it if you haven't already. And I also wanted to show off some embroidery that I did recently that I'm pretty proud of. I posted on my Instagram a little while ago. It's actually supposed to be for my parents' bathroom, but I held it up there and it really doesn't match with the decor there. So I made a bit of a mistake. I'll probably still give it to them, but I hope they don't hang it up there. Maybe they'll hang it up someplace else. That would be nice. So yes, that is all I have for you today. I did not finish my paper crane. I'll probably do so after this to make a thumbnail and say I finished a paper crane during one of my paper crane conversations. But how are you guys doing? How has Nonfiction November gone for you if you're participating? What have you been reading lately? What's going on in your lives? Yeah, I'm just really curious to know, especially since I've been feeling really disconnected from all of you and from BookTube lately. And yes, I will see you in another video soon. I really will. I think I'm going to combine my fall reading wrap-up all together, September, October, and November's reading wrap-up. It might be a little long, but I think it'll be okay. And I'm also going to film the BookTube tag video that Katie tagged me in, the Under the Influence of BookTube tag. So more videos to come, and I hope I continue having the motivation to film and to read and to have this spark of energy that I just haven't had in a while. Like I said, I look forward to seeing you in another video soon. Bye!